All right. And in five, four, three, two, one. Welcome to Youthful Tough Live. Hello, what's up to each and every one of you? We're back at it again on Youth 412 Live. My name is Ndo Hlemsane Twayo. I am your host, and as always, I am not alone. I am with my lovely, not always, but almost always lovely co-host, Zianda Kumal. I'll introduce her now a bit.
First of all, I'm always lovely. I don't know what you're on
Oh,
about. The people
please.
know. Angazu Tutsini.
Oh,
Hi
please.
everyone, I'm Zianda and welcome to the Youthful 12 Live.
Okay, why don't you do your clan names, bro? Like, after I did my
Okay,
clan names and all that, I was expecting you.
come on. It's not gonna have
Come
that thing. I
on.
don't have the voice for it. No, listen, hear me out. I don't have the voice for it. Leandro eating a voice in it. Like, because when I say
What
it,
voices?
umzilikazi ngamashobane, Dawatombolo,
Come
nje,
on now.
kanjalo, yabo. It's
All
just,
right.
that's not, it doesn't have that.
Tina love.
Eh.
I actually didn't think
Yeah,
you
so it's
knew
Pele,
your clan
but
names.
I know my clan names. Oh, come on.
I mean, I didn't trust you, but at least that shows, Uti, you kind of know them. It's not too bad. But I
I know my
promise
clan
you,
name.
I can learn your clan names and know your clan names, more clan names than you. The next, Abo, what am I saying? It's in Kulmi's Zul.
Now I
Yeah,
get what you're saying. What's in the next?
yeah. I by the next live, I can learn your clan names and know more clan names than you. Yeah, something like
No,
that,
but listen.
basically.
Okay, fine. You hear me out. Uba ungazazi ithakazelo zakho malo, like
We
literally.
only like know
And you know what I
three,
realized
like
though?
three.
Because I wanted to know. No, listen. I wanted to know like all my clan names, right? And it's so crazy how it's like, okay, I always knew this, right? I feel like I'm gonna sound like which is scared for saying this, but I didn't know like the surnames that my clan names are connected to. Yeah, because you know how,
Ooh.
like, yeah, like for example, isithakazelo sakho manje sothi Ndabezitha isithakazelo sakaZulu. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Yeah,
Crazy. And
yeah, stuff
Mabaso
like
as
that.
well. Mtungwa.
Khona nobabaso futhi nje, I had
Ooh.
no idea. It's actually a
Wait,
lot.
does that mean that you like can't like marry those people with like similar clan names?
Well, kwesintu phela, I guess I can't because
Oh,
that's basically my family. Like, I
oh
can't.
no.
Yeah,
Yo,
so.
my limitations are mangaga. I can just
Right? Because there's so many surnames that are like, damn, but it's sad. It's cool.
exactly like we so connected and everything. Like we just one big family. Like if we had to just look, we just realize that we all related and not want to get married to each other, which is just
Literally, so that's why I don't
crazy.
look. Like, now I saw after looking at that because I was like, it was better when I
Very
didn't know.
cute.
Like, ignorance is bliss, bruh. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So if you don't know your clan names, don't look them up because you might be
It might
surprised.
tell
You
you
might
that
be
you're
so.
related to your boyfriend or your girlfriend, so don't do it.
Ooh.
Don't do
That's
it.
crazy. That's crazy. Honestly, that I could just imagine that scenario. Anyways, yeah, we are back on the live. It is 10 past. Oh, no, it's not 10 past. My time is wrong here. It's 5 past 6. It's 5 past 6. Youth for Tough Live. We've got a very special guest for you today, and we'll bring her on later. As you can see, the title of the episode, it's Girl Positive. So yeah, you're gonna find out more about that in a short while. But yeah, I think before we can continue, just want to know from you, Zianda Uwati, what's trending this week? What is going on? Have you heard something?
Honestly, I haven't heard anything. Like, guys, I'm on social media for memes. So if what I just know memes. That's all I know. But
Seriously.
what I've realized, no, one thing that I wouldn't say is trending, but obviously I'm paying attention to it because it doesn't really affect me, but sort of. So basically, university is starting, registration and all of that is happening. And wow, hey, my ex shubile, go shubile.
Mm.
First of all, NSFAS defunded a bunch of courses, and nje there's
Yo.
that. And then there's registration fees and university fees and outstanding fees. And
Mm.
guys, abanye are still
Yo,
waiting to
yo,
hear
yo.
if they got NSFAS and all of that. Guys, it's crazy. Abanye bazofunda
That's
ngani this year
hectic.
because it's crazy. Like, yo,
Wait, so NSFAS is like defunding a few like courses. Does that mean like if I was like being funded by NSFAS, um, and then they defund my course in my second year, does that mean they won't fund me for my second year or third year?
I think so. I think so. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have much information on it
Mm,
because I'm not funded by NSFAS. So I don't
mm,
really know what's happening. Like I don't have that much
sure,
information. But from what I'm hearing, it sounds like it. Yeah,
sure. That's crazy though. That's insane. Like I don't know what like
it is.
I would do and like many people would do in that scenario. Like how do you carry on if you don't have any funds to like mid your like course and stuff? That's yo, student funding is
That's
such
my
a crazy thing.
thing.
Such a crazy thing. Yo. And
It
like
is.
does that
It is.
Ushuti, does that mean we might see a rise in like strikes and everything this year? Like early on food because of all of that drama?
Probably.
That's hectic. That's hectic.
Probably. I think so.
So when how do you feel about like strikes? Like since you're not like funded by NSFAS and usually the strikes are like NSFAS related, and it doesn't like affect you like the strikes affect your education, but you're not part of the reason why people strike.
How do I feel about the strikes? Not gonna lie, I support the cause, Mina, because I get why they're striking. I definitely get why they're striking. Because first of all, like usually it's like the whole registration thing. Ukuthi i-registration by la ngifunda khona mina. I-registration fee besikhathi esingaka. And then they take their own sweet time to reply to you about whether you got accepted or not, to sort out your registration, to reply to you if you have an issue with your registration. They take their own sweet time. And then registration period in gag. So that's one of the things they strike for, and that I get because it's affected me like a multiple times. So I get
Mm,
that even with the whole NSFAS thing, in as much as it doesn't affect me, I understand it because I know people that are affected by it.
mm,
So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be one of those people that are like, "Ngoba manje mina I'm self-funded,
yeah, like
education, in, whatever." I'm not gonna be at peace knowing ukuthi khona umuntu ongakwazi ukufunda because NSFAS is doing them dirty, because registration is whatever. And yeah. So I support the cause.
mm.
But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not part of the
Okay.
strikes. Like if they sit out at school, like if they say like my best
Yeah.
keep my class in yabo ngiyaphuma and stuff. Go do things strike and
Mm.
go skip guys, I'm not there. I support
That's what I was
silently.
gonna ask. Would you ever like
No.
strike? Why
No,
not?
listen. Those strikes get hectic, guys.
Mm,
Ngiyigwala mina. Yabo mina ngiyakuvuma lokho. Guys,
bro.
like yay, ngiyigwala. So, but I
And
support.
like when the police come and everything with guns and stuff, people are throwing things
You
and yo,
see, like it
dude,
gets so hectic, and it's like, eesh,
dude, those
amen,
are scary times. Those are scary
amen.
times. Like when they come, sabi no, kana pa matlasin, pa 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 pa. Come on, get out, get out, get out, get out.
No, the whole
Like your
strike
heart
thing
is
was so crazy, guys. The way it happened on campus, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. God hang us we movie. I'm like, I'm not trying to make this the situation not serious because I know striking is serious. But the way
Yeah.
that it happens is so crazy because you'll be sitting in class and then Tologuti Konomundo class and that's a part of the strike. And then randomly they stand up and they're just like, Amanda! And you're like, oh, it's like, man. That's again,
And
I'm like,
then
that's how it is. And you're like, whoa. And then they take over the lecture
crazy.
hall and they're standing at the podium.
Sure.
Angazi ngihleli kanjani niyafunda abanye bengafundi and it's like
Mm,
oh
mm, mm.
yo it's crazy you busy
Like,
like
do,
wow
do you remember like your first like strike experience? How that was like for you?
I think it was last year because the year before that I was online so I wasn't really
Mm,
on campus so it was last year and it was the first day I went to campus. Nakona it was because got registered late because the university delayed my registration and messed up my registration and yabo. So my
mm,
first day on campus, angas get strike. No, I think they said I don't know if they had said the strike was over or I didn't know they were striking, but yeah. So I get to campus and I sit in my lecture and already I'm kind of anxious because there's like a lot of people and like kind of like so I'm sitting down, and then this guy in a red t-shirt stands up, and they start shouting, and they're kicking people out, and like they were very violent. I'm not gonna lie, no one touched me,
mm.
but it was busy, like yeah. Well, so I was just like. "Gonzala and la." But then part of me was happy because I was just like, I have an excuse to go back to my
No
place.
school. Yeah.
So no
No school
school, no
today.
class. Like already bengathanda ukuba lana. Like
Yeah.
social anxiety was kicking my butt. So I was like, I will
No,
gladly
I
leave.
get you.
Gladly.
No, I get you. I think for me also, I used to like be happy because I don't like being like at campus and everything. So every time there was a strike, I used to like get happy and everything. Would say I get to go home early, everything, and
Mm,
we get to like take a whole like a few days off and everything. So I was usually like happy most of the time. But yeah, man, like strikes are pretty hectic. Like lecturers are scared,
yeah.
everyone is scared, everyone is panicking. They took those fire hydrants, um those fire pipes. I don't know, see, but yeah, then they used to like thingy
Yeah.
water at people, everything. I was like crazy, like why are you
Bro.
guys doing that, man? Like come on now. But yeah, man, like
Yeah.
it's really really crazy. And you guys who are watching this, you can just comment down below about your strike experience at campus. What was that like? Yeah, like how do you feel about all of that? And yeah, I think we should also pray for NSFAR students who are being
Yeah.
defunded, and who are anxious right now, don't know their status and everything, because it's really really tough. Like
Yeah.
where to from now. But yeah, man. So yeah, that's what's trending right now in our country, among many other things. Utuzianda doesn't know a lot about what's going on, but so do I. So I'll cut her some slack
Yeah.
for that. Anyways, before we call on our guest, which we will now, I just wanted to just share something with you. No, actually, I'll share it after. I was doing this thing whereby I wanted to read a few books this year, like one book per month and everything. Because I used to like read a lot in
Mm-hmm.
2018 and everything. Then I stopped, but now I just want to get back on the treadmill and everything. So like one book per month and everything. So I just want to know from your side, like, are you reading? Do you read? Do you have an interest in reading or something? Maybe we can get
I
on this
used
journey
to,
together.
oh, I used to read so much in 2020. Yeah, even
What
before,
happened?
but 2020 was when I realized, Uti, I actually love reading. Am I back?
Then what happened? Yeah, you never left.
Okay.
What happened?
Oh, I thought my network dipped. Okay. Anyways, so I think because school got hectic and stuff, so I was just so focused on school that I just lost it. you know when you have like a momentum and then you lose it, and it's so hard to get
Mm.
back. So yeah, I've been wanting to get back into reading, but it's just, ish, yeah, nah. But this is the year.
Daunting. This is the year, ne?
This is the year. Yeah,
Let's
I
do it.
feel it.
Let's do it. One book per month. Yeah. One book per month. Do you think you can do that? 12 books this year. One book per month.
Hey, one book per month is tricky, not gonna lie. With
It's
school,
crazy.
hear me out. With school, with school, one book per month. I don't want to say one book per month, but
One and
let's
two.
say this year, my goal, I'm just gonna put it out for the year. Uguti, my
Hmm.
goal is to read a maximum of 10 books this year.
Ooh, okay.
10 books.
That's not bad. That's not
Yeah.
bad. That's not bad at all. So
Yeah.
what
It's a
books do you
start.
read? Fiction, fiction, non-fiction?
Both actually. But I guess do I prefer fiction? I feel like I
Hmm.
prefer fiction. I feel
All
like
right.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's quite interesting. So let's let's come up maybe by next week with one book to recommend each other,
Okay.
and make it like part of our book list. Yeah, part of our book list.
Okay.
So we're gonna make it a goal, 10 books this year, and all that, and then we can recommend like one book. And if you guys have any recommendations, just comment down below. What book should we read for this upcoming year? I'm very excited about that because I think reading is quite important. It's quite interesting. It does help
It
you with
is.
gaining knowledge and everything, opening up your mind. So that will be very interesting to see if we are able to manage that. Anyways, speaking of which, I think this is a good segue to bring on our guest for today's show. Yes, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Girl Positive, but she'll tell us all about it. We've got Natasha. Let me just bring her on our stage. Pa, 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 pam. Hello and welcome, Natasha, to
Hey
our show.
guys,
How are you today? How are you feeling? Are you excited to be part of today's show?
I'm actually just trying to find myself in the frame just to make sure that all the viewers can see me. Um, I'm great, I'm fine. I think, so I'm also kind of like in the academic space. So listening to you all talking about protesting and about what's happening in the universities and NASFAS and starting up and hyping up and getting ready for the academic year, I'm sort of like in the same or similar space as well. Maybe I'm just on the other side of the classroom. But yeah, even for us right now, I think as facilitators of the academic space, it's kind of hectic because we're in the space where we have to prepare and gear up and get our projects ready and kind of get our ducks in a row so that once the students get there and we are in the classroom space, we can hype things up and get the students excited about learning. Besides all the other challenges that come with being a student, like mentioning the NASFAS, mentioning all of you guys starting to move into RAISE and all these different types of things. But for now, on my side, I'm hyped up, I'm excited, I'm ready for the academic year to start. So yeah, let's see where it goes.
Oh wow! All right. I hope the students are as hyped up as you are, about the academic year. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us for today's episode. Can you just please just tell us a little bit about yourself, um, and where you're from?
Right. So, first of all, I just want to say a shout out to you, Lindo. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come onto Youth 412 and to, just speak about, the other exciting stuff happening in the world of not just keeping people positive, but also just ministry and how that kind of, can play a role essentially in each of our lives, especially as young people. So just a bit about me. So I'm a graphic designer by profession. I've kind of been in the design space for maybe, I would say, maybe just a bit over 13 to 14 years. So it's been a long time coming. And so, just leading into that, it was always difficult for me, trying to find my place or identity, so to speak, in what we call ministry, in what we term ministry. So, we should basically be, how do I share my faith? How do I share, different aspects of what I believe, different sort of values, maybe different sort of spiritual or religious principles that I live by. And so for me, it was always a challenge because I would look around me and see, look at my friends, look within my church, look within my social circles. And people would stand up and they would like be preaching, and people would be singing, and people would be doing all the sort of what we term serious looking stuff. And I'm like, how do I fit into this as an artist? Like, where do I find a space to express myself creatively? And so I'd started, looking a bit into sort of, artistic work and how to sort of paint, almost like literally paint a picture of my faith and my beliefs within different spheres of, creative artwork, and also then bringing that into ministry. So doing creative stuff, doing puppet shows, going out on the streets and having people pop balloons, and having t-shirts. So along the way, I had also started a t-shirt ministry, which myself and a couple of other people were running as well. So there was just the sort of awakening, I would say, of God just showing and revealing to me different avenues that I could experiment with to try and get artistic work out there that spoke to or about my values, my beliefs, those sort of things. And so, yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. I think I've always been passionate to work with young people. I've always been passionate about ministry, but I've always been passionate about positioning my creativity in a way that doesn't just speak to the industry of media and artistry and visual arts and graphic design and visual communication and digital media and all that sort of thing. I wanted to find out and figure out how could I take all of those tools and use it in a ministerial way. And so, yeah, that in a nutshell, I think has sort of been my journey to this point, coming to the Girl Positive, network and ministry and business and all that sort of thing, which I suppose we will get into a bit more. But just maybe two or three things about myself. So I'm originally from Cape Town, as you can hear my accent. It's not from KZN in any shape or form. And so I find myself living in Durban in KZN, and myself and my husband, we've settled here, we are working here, we've integrated into, building a life and a home here as well. And yeah, I've sort of just been floating around, searching for more and more young people to try and connect with, to do creative ministry with. So yeah, that's really essentially my passion and what the Girl Positive Network is also all about. It's all about really building relationships, encouraging positivity, especially amongst women.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Thank you very much for sharing all of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like it truly is amazing. And we'll get to all of that stuff about Girl Positive because I'm very excited to talk about that. I just have one question because Suzianda has a little bit of a game just to get to know you a little bit more. But before we get to that, I just want to know, how's the Durban weather treating you and everything, like compared to Cape Town?
Come on, guys. I'll be honest, like it's
I was
crazy out
expecting that.
here. Like it's not like in
Mm.
any shape or form, even remotely close to Cape Town or the Western Cape. I'm sure if you or any of our viewers have traveled to the Western Cape or Cape Town, you can immediately like tell the difference. So I think the toughest thing maybe for us as Cape Townians living down here is the humidity. So I mean, you guys can see like my cruises. Okay, we call these like cruises. Like if you are colored from Cape Town and you constantly like have this like happening, my hair is always frizzy. Like I'm always sweating. Like
Mm,
it's like always just like a thing. And so I think that's been the hardest thing to deal with
Yeah.
here. Is kind of the wacko crazy, like never know what's happening kind of weather, and it kind of like messes with your head a bit. But I think, outside of that, what we've really loved and enjoyed on the flip side, and ironically,
Yeah.
are, like the lovely days, the days where you can just, not carry a jacket around and just go and enjoy yourself, like have an evening out and walk on the beach, at any evening, if it's not raining or if we're not having a lightning storm, and just go out on the beach and take a walk. And I'm a bit of like a fruit nut. So for me, like I've just been enjoying like all the fruits that Durban can offer right now. Like I know like our kitchen's just like stacked with mangoes and stuff. So that's like
yeah.
been like, like super awesome for me. So yeah, the adjustment has really been challenging. It's very different
Mm.
from Cape Town, but I mean, it has its own, it has perks of its own.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine. I would also love to just experience the Cape and everything. I've heard such good things about it, so I really like to go there myself and just see what makes it different from Durban and everything. But before Zianda hits me, because she wants to get to know you better. She wants our viewers to get to know you a bit better, and so she's got a little game prepared
Yes.
for you. So Zianda, you can just take it away.
Okay, so this is our version of an icebreaker, right?
Oh,
Just to get
shucks.
to know you
Okay.
better.
Yeah.
So basically, what's going to happen is don't be scared.
I'm
Basically,
so
what's going to
scared.
happen is we're going to set a timer. Why are you scared? Don't be scared. It's just random questions, but they're like rapid fire questions. So you have to answer as fast as you can,
Okay. I'll try.
right? We're going to set a timer for 30 seconds. Okay, let's give you 45. Okay. I don't know why Lido left because he's supposed to be our timekeeper, but okay, it's fine. We've got this.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm here. I'm here. I
Okay.
can
Let's
keep the
do it.
time.
Okay.
So there
Let's
he
do it.
is.
Yeah.
Our timekeeper is back. Okay, so 45 seconds.
All
You
right, let me
wow,
just
this
put it
isn't
on.
general knowledge.
Okay,
Answer, answer. It's just
45
red. It's
seconds.
questions about
Yeah.
you. It's not general knowledge questions. It's
Oh,
questions
okay.
about you. So
Well,
just answer
even
without
so.
thinking. Whatever comes to mind, just answer.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. What's your favorite song?
What what is it? Let's say Waymaker. Okay,
Answer
Waymaker.
first. Okay. Your favorite character from any book. Favorite character.
Jane Austen.
Favorite food.
Mangoes.
If you get a superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
If you had a time machine, which time period would you go back to?
Definitely, I think the early 1800s.
Okay. What's your favorite hobby?
Playing my silver flute.
Okay.
Oh
Time,
man.
Time's
time,
up.
time.
You did really
Wow,
well. You did really
that
well.
was
I won't lie.
interesting.
That was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Awesome.
interesting.
You did really well.
Why would
You
you?
got about
Why would
10
you go back
questions.
to?
That's
Really? I wanted to
mm,
know why
why
would you
the
go
early you
back
said the
to
early
the
1800s,
1800s?
right?
Yeah, so I think maybe around the time that Ellen White team were around, I don't know. I would have maybe liked to experience
Mm,
that time.
Mm,
And
mm.
I know it's like maybe it's a very like, oh, it's such a Adventist type of answer. But I've always been interested to know, what was going on, what was around, what was the politics really like, um, and all that type of thing. So I think that would just be some like
Yeah.
interesting time to have lived in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, would you want to go back like and see the great disappointment though, and like be disappointed as well? Ooh,
No.
and see people disappointed, yo.
I wouldn't want to see people
Because that's my
disappointed.
fear. That's my fear, yo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that would be crazy, I must say. But yeah, thank you very much, Zianda, for that, and thank you very much, Natasha, for answering those questions. Now we just want to get
Cool.
into, girl positive, what that is all about, because maybe some people have not heard of it. Some people are finding out about it today, and some people know about it, but they would like to just know like where all of this started. So can you just please first just tell us what is Girl Positive for those people who have never heard of it?
Right. So for me, the essentially, okay, for lack of a better word, I'll call it a ministry. So it was actually conceived at the beginning of like right at the beginning of COVID-19. Um, so what was happening was, I mean, all of us, we went into like hard lockdown. I think that was in March of 2019. And I think by the following month, all of us started just like getting crazy. We were indoors, we were cut off from everything, that we would, everything socially, environmentally, all of that. And so I just thought, I'm not really a social media person, but let me reach out to some of my girlfriends and hear if they would maybe want to, start a podcast or maybe just chat through live stream on Instagram and just talk about positive stuff. Because I knew, or I mean, we had some sense that this thing was not just going to end, and we didn't know when it would end, if it would ever end. And so immediately I think what, your thoughts go to, loneliness. It's almost like your thoughts start wandering to this deep dark place, and you're like, before things get there, let me just find a way to connect with my friends or with other girls, other women. And so I prayed about it, like not as in like, oh Lord, like what do I do? But I was just like, should I do this? Because I'm not really very socially inclined. It's not like I have all these followers or whatever. And so I just jumped into it. I WhatsApped some girlfriends. I was like, do you guys want to get together and do like a panel or a group live type of thing where we just chat about how we are keeping positive throughout whatever it is that humanity is actually going through right now. And so it actually took, some encouragement, because I mean, generally women, especially if they're not, or if they weren't exposed to social media on a daily basis, especially speaking about their feelings or what they are going through or their frustrations, people are hesitant. And so I just started and people agreed, and we were doing these like lives in the evenings. I think I was doing it like twice a week or something through Instagram live. And then that kind of spiraled then into getting youngsters to come together and talk about, how they are essentially, the way they're eating is changing, the way that they are exercising or remaining active is changing. And then essentially also, the mental state, what is happening in that space. And then lastly, we got people to speak about just like how they are praying. So I think at that point in time, the theme was like eat, pray, and something else. Not like the movie Eat, Pray, Love, but yeah, I think it was along those lines. And then we got like, I put a panel discussion together. I started doing some research on how do you do like this whole live stream thing when you have like multiple people online. Obviously, Zoom was around, but no one was actually, picking up on it that much because, I mean, we didn't really have a need yet to be using these online platforms. And so, because of my background in design and media and digital, I started doing a bit more research, started cluing myself up, especially with, the platform we're using here as well, StreamYard. And I started putting together these panel discussions on how we can sort of perpetuate positivity in our, social circles through online platforms. And so, to cut a long story short, we started with girls and women coming together, having panel discussions through Facebook and YouTube, and just talking about positive things in every aspect of our lives. So, in relationships, in our diet, in the way that we kind of encourage our mental health, in all of those things. And so, we eventually had ended up where we started talking about some real hard hitting church topics as well. So I had done a series on digital evangelism training with different people, from different parts of the world and society, not just with religious backgrounds, but, people that just wanted to know how can we communicate about our faith and various other things effectively using different digital platforms. So we had done a bunch of that as well. And then lastly, we had moved into looking at the topic of rediscovering your church, which was a series that I was running online with different, people, leaders and expertise with different backgrounds in theology and in ministry, evangelism, that sort of thing. And then, of course, people that had know-how on how to work with young people and youth and church dynamic had come in and spoken about or tried to answer this question of, so, hypothetically, if the pandemic was now done, how would our churches essentially function and look like? Because we were now doing church differently. You could log onto any platform at any time, whenever you wanted, listen to any church program, music, spoken word, sermon, whatever it was at any time. And this obviously changed the way that we would see and go and have church. And so from there, I started thinking about, I need to ask myself, once all of this is done, was it just about remaining positive and talking about various topics or themes or issues, or am I going to initiate real-time practical activities once this COVID-19 thing blows over? And so I had eventually started praying about it in a more serious way, because I was like, Lord, women, it's not just about the whole idea of women coming together and talking about their problems, because sometimes people think that's what women's ministry is all about. And it's all about these, just sharing verses and encouraging one another. But while that is true, I was like, you know what? There needs to be something else to it. Women want to learn how to work with their finances. They want guidance in the choice of their careers. They want to know how to improve their health in different ways, because nowadays there's so many things to think about as a woman. We're not just thinking about our thing like BMI and growing hair and nails and things like that. We're now thinking about collagen. People are speaking about hyperpigmentation of their skin, all these big words and interesting things happening in the health space. And so for me, it was important to talk about things that were very relevant to 2022, 23, and now in 24 already. And so for me, that content had to become very practical and real also in a ministerial way. And what I mean by that is I wanted to start creating creative products or aspects or things where women could tell their stories in ways where they didn't have to maybe, pick up a microphone or sit in front of an audience. Maybe they would be shy, maybe they would be scared to share some intimate parts of their story. people went through trauma. People were losing loved ones in the pandemic. Um, People were losing their jobs. People were facing real issues. And so, of course, this has spiraled out into society that we live in today. And now the issues are even more complex. And so I had asked myself, you know what? How can women share these stories? Not just in a way where it feels like Oprah, where you're coming on a show and you're being interviewed and that sort of thing, and you just have to spill your guts. Some women want to write a poem. Some women want to draw their story. Some women want to use words. And for me, coming from a background of, being a bookworm, of writing poetry, doing spoken word, I belonged to a collective many years ago when I was living in Cape Town still. And there's just various ways for us to share experiences in such a way that somebody can gain some kind of positivity or encouragement from it, or even just be challenged or pushed in a way where they feel like, wow, this makes me feel motivated, but in a kind of like a non-evasive way where it doesn't feel like preachy, if you know what I mean. And so from there, I had to really like sit down and start thinking about where was this going to go? This whole ministry thing, this whole thing of keeping people positive, is that all that's to it? Is just speaking words of motivation and encouragement. And so from there onwards, we had gone and, spoken to various women and people that wanted to contribute and come on board and maybe form a network within Girl Positive where we could do pre-sessions online, which we did do through Instagram, where we did SharePoint. Once an evening, women would meet through Zoom and we would talk about, any topic that anyone wanted to throw out there, be it health, jewelry, relationships. We are dealing with the LGBTQ plus a type of community right now. Women's roles in society, women's roles in the home. Excuse me. So just all these different types of topics we would throw out and also just study and look at it from a biblical point of view. So yeah, we had SharePoint, we had the pre-sessions, which was known or called our pre-closet that we had once a week. And then we also had this component of actually doing some outreach where we could try and reach out to other women that were in need. So whether it be praying for them, doing food parcels that we could put together, do a toiletries or sanitary or whatever sort of toiletry needs that women had that we would identify and then serve them. And so there was all these just different components and parts of the sort of ministry, if you want to call it that way, that was being put out there and that was starting to come together. And so at the time being, I started getting overwhelmed because it was just me. And I think it was two other ladies that was assisting me, and they had gone on in life to get permanent jobs and they had no more free time really to give to the ministry and all that sort of thing. And so at the end of the day, it just ended up being myself running all these different components and parts of the ministry. And then I had to just exhale and take a breath. Last year, we had moved, from Cape Town to Durban, starting jobs here, starting a new life, getting married, all that sorts of stuff. And I had to really ask myself, what now? What's next? And unfortunately, it was also around the time that my gran had passed away. So she's late now. And I inherited something very interesting from her. I had inherited some of these devotional books that she used to read on a daily basis and some of her journaling books. And I never realized that my grandmother wrote and read as much as she did. There was like piles and piles of these like little booklets. And so many, like you'll see even behind me, there's some of these books that I have here is books from her. that I sort of inherited and started reading, just interesting books that she had
Oh,
collected. Um, Hi, Lindo. Can you hear me?
no,
Hi,
yes, I
guys.
can.
Can you
I'm so
hear me?
sorry. You can
Maybe.
go on.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we
Okay.
can. You can, yeah, you can go on.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So there were all these books that she had inherited, or rather that I had inherited from her. And I just started reading these books on a daily basis. And so they just spoke to me, and I realized that maybe this is an opportunity or a way for women to tell their story. And so I had sort of, I think the Lord put this idea in my mind, this color me, just these words started coming to me, and just this idea of bravery. Because since losing my grandmother, there was just like a part of me that felt, like she was so brave with the life that she had led, like 84 years. And there's so much that happened in her life, being a single mom, also for so many years, raising 3 kids because my late grandfather had died from cancer. And so the idea just came together, color me brave. And so I thought, maybe I should try and compile a devotional of some sort. And so I had started praying about it, and I started reaching out to different women. And mind you, the women that said no to the conversations I was hosting online during COVID because they were either too shy, they didn't feel like they wanted to come up front and speak about some of these stories. And so I had now turned or flipped the coin, asking them if they would be willing to write some of the experiences and stories if it were to be compiled within a devotional book. And all of these women said yes. There was probably about 90 women that I had asked, some from KZN, some from the Western Cape, some from the Northwest, Free State, Limpopo, women from different places around South Africa. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, if there was going to be funds, how this. I didn't have any background in publishing whatsoever, and I'm like, Lord, how am I going to compile a book? Like, I have no background in this kind of thing. I'm not qualified in copy editing. All I know what to do is do graphic design. And so I was like, I don't even know how to ask these women. Like, how do I do that? How do you ask somebody to tell the personal story to the rest of the world, with the personal challenge or experience, and how God has made them brave through that experience? And so I really had to sit down and muster up courage and my own type of bravery to have the guts to ask women, would you be willing to share your story? I don't even know if anyone was going to buy this book or read it, for a matter of fact. But in any case, there was just some sort of like fire within me that said, do this project and see what happens. And so, yeah, to cut a long story short, God made it happen. And so we had compiled the Color Me Brave devotional, which consists out of many, many women's stories and experiences. And what I think was interesting about this devotional was the fact that people could write in this devotional. So there was areas where they could, if they had thoughts, they could, read maybe a devotional, and they could be challenged by it. So they could have a challenge, they could write down a prayer, they could do the actual devotional reading, so read the experience. I just filled this devotional book with a whole bunch of, creative content and not just stories, because I wanted women to go on a journey of bravery, and figure out and prayerfully find their own way of becoming brave. So I know that color therapy is also, something that lots of women engage in. So I had filled the book with, just different artistic images of, that you could color in, and so on and so forth. So I had filled the book with puzzles, with quotes, with bookmarks, with a prayer list, with even a little word search game that you could do with the recipes of how to bake a simple brown bread or how to make a couple of smoothies. So I had found that it was just important for me to create something, not just a book full of experiences, but a book where women could go on a journey and it would speak to different facets of their lives. Um, and yeah, so we happened to, through God's grace, sell probably close to between, I think it was between 500 to 700 devotional books across the country. And they consisted of different writers, women from different, walks of faith, women from different ethnicities, so Black, Asian, white, colored. And really, I do believe that this book is on a mission for a ministry of its own. It's out of my hands. I have no control over where this book may go and what may speak to this day. It's been, I think, nearly in March, it will be a year since the book had launched and we had sold out with the copies we had. And today, to this day, I'm still receiving stories of how women have been encouraged to become more brave. And that essentially was the whole point about the devotional book. And so for me, I've grown a lot personally. I've come to really understand a bit more of what it means to not be ashamed of what you believe and who you are and what your identity is. It's so important that if your identity is rooted in, your beliefs, I feel like that is fundamentally the most important thing and it governs everything else. Your one's culture, your personality, even, although that might be difficult to say, is submissive to what you believe. And so, yeah, we put, together some calendars that we also had sold for this year. If there's any of you on the live stream that might be interested in having a desk calendar, I still have a couple. So some of these calendars actually contain some content from the devotional as well. So these are calendars for 2024. And we managed to do a couple of outreach projects as well. We were able to run a sanitary towel drive where we were able to serve 600 young girls with sanitary towels and products. And there was a couple of other things that were done as well in terms of just serving women and girls in various communities. And so that really, in a nutshell, is where things have gone with Girl Positive. It's no longer just about speaking positivity. It's not even anymore about speaking about bravery and what that means. But it's now really about going on a journey to find out what exactly your identity is, what you stand for, what you are willing to sacrifice for what you stand for, and that you are going to be okay. And at the end of the day, life is still to be enjoyed. We still need to build relationships. We still need to have fun. We still need to have excitement about being young and about what we believe, despite, the protesting is happening, flooding is happening all over, natural disasters are happening, people are becoming cold within the different faiths. People are becoming more and more confused about what they believe and who they are and where they belong. And so, really, Color Me Brave is now, and Girl Positive has now moved into a space where it's all about making somebody or allowing someone to realize it's important to go on a journey to discover what these things that I've just said is all about. And that is different for all of us. And it takes a different shape and a different form and a different animal for each of us. And so, that's really what it's all about. And so I'm hoping that there are other girls out there that maybe would like to carry on the mantle of what this concept is all about. I'm definitely still, putting ideas out there for girls that are interested in a ministry like this, or to be a part of such a network, to come on board and to assist and to spread the word, and even to start their own little girl positive network if it came to that. Yeah, the Color Me Brave brand is trademarked, so it does, the intellectual property belongs in one place. But like I said, it's all about being in a community. And so, before maybe there are any other questions, Lindo, just to end off or to summarize this whole thing of Girl Positive, it's really based on the scripture of Isaiah 46, verse 13, which says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. And so it springs up, waters coming in the desert." And really, that's what I would like to often be leaving with women and people, is that be expectant of a new thing in your life or in your season. Life is tough, it's rough. Khaled like to say life is junk. And it is junk. There are moments and times and seasons where it's junk and it's terrible and it's tough. But we got to fight through it. We got to have that resilience. And so I'd love for people to be, and in closing to this section, to really claim what Isaiah is saying and speaking. We need to behold that a new thing is coming. And whatever desert or tough space or thing you are in, your nasfas is not coming through, you're having issues with your family, you're in love with someone not of your ethnicity, for example, you're having trouble with your social circle at church or at uni, or you're not getting into raise, or whatever the case may be, behold, God is willing and open to do something new for you, but you have to claim it. So yeah.
Wow, wow. Amen and amen. I really don't know what to say. Thank you so much for sharing all about Girl Positive. I don't think there are any questions from my side, because I think you answered them all. And I'm really, really so happy, and just thank God for the type of work that Girl Positive has been doing. Even the initiative of Color Me Brave. That's such a great concept, especially in our country, whereby women are really, really going through the most, with abuse, GBV, everything, So having such a network is such an important thing, especially spreading the message of positivity. So thank you for what you do and what the ministry does, and for accepting the call, to actually do this great work at such a time as this, whereby it is very, very necessary. So I just want to know, because we have to end off our live very soon. But I just want to know from you that where can we get in touch with you, Girl Positive, if we want to be part of the network, or not we, because I'm not a girl, but like if girls want to be part of the network, and if anyone is interested also in like buying the devotional or the calendar, which are really, really cool, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lindo. So we are on Facebook. So if you go to Girl Positive, you will find the Facebook page there. Our Instagram, I'm quite active and receptive to messages there. So our Instagram our handle is Girl Positive Cape Town. So if you just type that into Instagram, it will come up. And then, of course, we have a YouTube channel as well. But even if you go on one of those platforms, it will take you, there will be links to any of the other platforms as well. So any of you are more than welcome to inbox or contact us. Right there, as you put it, at Girl Positive Cape Town. And if you would like to contact me directly, maybe you're interested in purchasing so this is a desk calendar. It sits on your desk, and it's filled with, sections where you can color in. It's filled with verses with each month. You can even put a playlist down. You can get some ideas for encouraging yourself with mental health. There's quotes, even the section with public holidays for the year. All of that is jam packed into this lovely desk calendar. You can also contact me, and I'll be willing to share with you my personal number, the WhatsApp number for the ministry, which is 071 285 0730. So if you'd like to get into contact me and you'd like to purchase a calendar, I still have some of them available at only 60 rands. So yeah, you can just contact me directly via those platforms.
All right, all right. Thank you very much, Natasha, for joining us. I'll definitely be, getting one. And yeah, I think for our viewers as well, we'll try and maybe have a giveaway whereby we give one
Yeah.
of our special viewers. So we might see, during the week. Stay tuned on our social media channels. We might be doing something. But thank you very much, Natasha, for coming through and for joining us for our live today and for sharing everything and for everything that you do. May God bless you abundantly. Let me just bring. Okay, since Zianda is not here, just before you leave, I just wanted to know that do you have any tips if for someone who wants to, ask someone to be their Valentine?
Buy them a calendar. Start there. Okay.
That's a good idea.
I would say, hey man, just go out there, be creative, be bold, be brave. If you like her, she's all that good looking to you. She's got some good values. She loves the Lord. Don't be afraid. Go out there, be brave, do your thing, say hello, go up to her, say hi, give her a compliment, and yeah, just go for it.
All right, all right. Thank you very much, Natasha, for that. I'll definitely keep that in mind. And for anyone else who needs some tips, yeah, I hope you guys were listening. Thank you very much, Natasha, for that and for joining us on today's live. Yeah, Zianda, that was a wonderful conversation. I don't know what you thought about that. Yeah, especially the Valentine's part. Okay, Zianda, I don't know what's going on. Um,
Wow. That's what I have to say to you. Wow. Wow.
what? What? I was just asking for some
Wow.
advice. Nothing, nothing. Oh,
Wow.
I was just asking for some advice. But anyways,
Bye.
yeah. Thank you guys for joining us for today's live. Yeah, I don't know what you have to say to our viewers before we end off the show, Zianda. Do you have anything to say to our viewers right now?
I have a Valentine's Day proposal to do. Two actually.
Ooh,
Yes, I
all
have game.
right.
I have two. So the
Okay.
first one. Wait, can we do a thing where maybe like tag them in the comments, or maybe like put this clip on the high on like your story on the Eiffel
Yeah,
12
I'll do
thingy
that.
and tag
We'll do
them,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So the first one is Undalo Nhlengethwa. Sithando senhliziyo yami. Will you please be my
Aw.
Valentine? Will you please do me the honor of
Aw.
being my Valentine? That's the first one. And then the second one
Mm-hmm.
is Andiswa.
Okay. All right. We didn't get that one. The last one.
Yeah.
We didn't get the last one. Your network.
You didn't get the last one. I'll gladly do it
Yeah.
again. Okay. Siyangizwa manje.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Andiswa Bengu, the apple of my eye. Gorgeous, gorgeous girl. Will you please do me the honor of being my Valentine? Okay,
All
yeah.
right. All right. Okay. Andiswa Pengun Dalon Tlengeta. You heard it first here on Youth for 12 Live. I hope they reject you. But anyways, we'll
Anything I
hear
could say,
what they have to say.
I hope whoever you're
We'll tag
planning
them.
to ask to be a Valentine rejects you because you're a bitter. You're a bitter.
I'm very bitter right now, but it's fine. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for watching the live today. We'll see if Xander's proposal is successful or not. Join us next week, same time, same place on Youth for 12 Live. Good night and God bless.